Welcome viewers, Camera Cat, Sydney Harbour, 13 December 2020, 18-footer racing live stream. I'm Andrew Buckland on the Camera Cap today. In the steering position, Vaughan Wooldridge on the Ronan, Anton Perry. Welcome, Anton.
Thank you.
John O'Witty, AeroMedia driving the technical issues, and Michael Chittenden production. In the central commentary position today, we welcome Bill McCartney, father of Jack and entrepreneur of some notoriety in respect of televised yachting entertainment. Bill, welcome.
Thanks, Bucko. Really nice to be here on such a sensational Sydney Harbour day. I'm not too sure it gets a hell of a lot better than this. But Bucko, how many times have you won the World Championship? Just remind me.
Only 7, William.
7? Okay, so you're a 7 times winner. You've got a breeze which you're saying is east-northeast and switching around a bit. So if you're calling the tactics on one of the races today, what's your story?
Well, the same rules still apply, I think. The first man to Bradley's Head wins the race. The traditional track, beat up Harbour to the Bishop Boy, tack at Bradley's and then go figure. And it might be the Eastern Shore will pay after that. And we are in just the beginnings of flood tide, so the beats will get longer as the day goes on, just in the first 45 minutes of the tide at start time.
Okay, so where you're positioning at the moment as you see it, knowing that the breeze is flicking around a bit and changing in strength and getting towards, I would suggest, the top end of the big rigs they've got in. So given all that, where are you positioning yourself at the start?
We're going to what the Kiwis call the pun, aren't we, Bill?
The pun.
Well, the pin. And, the committee's put the line in with a little bit of pin bias. And there is enough pressure, and the boats are laying up under the headland of Bradley's, and we can see that there's about 0.8 of a mile of track before they got to get onto port tack by the look of it. So a couple of minutes of sailing, about 4 minutes of sailing before they have to try and get onto port and cross or not cross, as the case may be.
Right, okay.
Delicate things. Let's talk about the weather for a minute, though, Bill. I mean, the models haven't been handling the La Nina too well, and yesterday was a case in point where the models were saying 12-ish, 14 perhaps, southeast and east southeast, and it actually ended up above 20 southeast. So 40 degrees further right and double the strength, which is a fairly serious deviation, from the predictions. So, but today, temperatures everywhere, like the water offshore is now pretty warm, 23, 24, perhaps 40 miles off the coast. Temperature in Western Sydney today only about 23, so no thermal effect, or not much thermal effect. Localised small thermal effects, perhaps would summarise it as, on top of a gradient east-nor'easter with a big high-pressure cell dominating the eastern part of the Australian continent. So we're seeing bits of wind of 12 to 14, left-handed wind, should we call it that, and lighter spots where the breeze goes back to the right. So just the unenhanced gradient flow, and the stronger bits have got a bit of thermal effect in them. But with the land temperatures not hot, there's not a great amount of convection going on. So we're not expecting too much of a build, maybe a couple of knots. And be a pretty interesting race. The beats are long, there'll be a premium on getting upwind. And a lot of traffic. Sale Sydney Regatta on as well, Bill. And what are we seeing out here, mate? We just saw a gaff rigger go past.
I reckon you've got just about everything you could imagine or wish for, really. It's not just a beautiful day on Sydney Harbour, but such a beautiful wide variety of sail racing vessels all over the place, with, of course, the 18 scooting around like, the MotoGPs out on the water, along with the big old trucks that are going around. But it's a beautiful sight. And Bucko, how much of the tactics of the boys is to do with the fact that they look down harbour and see all that sail up there, and it's going to disrupt the wind flow. So how do they deal with that?
Well, Bill, I think you'll see the fleet might end up mostly on the starboard side up the beat, and hopefully the courses aren't too severely intersected. But there is a big mix of boats out here, and the lasers are of no effect unless you're coming down one on port and they go out one on starboard. but there's a fair-sized traditional keelboat fleet, as in gaff rigs and things, which do tend to make pretty big holes in the wind. You know, the wind shadow of an old square rigger or an old gaff rigger is a pretty formidable thing. So they're trying to step around those. But the 18, because they're relatively close-winded, they've got a fair bit of discretion about where you can put the bow and not lose. You can sail a little high and not lose much. You can sail a little low and not lose much. So the ability to get upwind's pretty good. It's downwind where the problems tend to be when upwind keelboats and other boats on starboard and the 18 coming down on port.
Right.
Threading the needle, we call it sometimes, yeah? Particularly up at Nielsen Park as they're coming towards the first jibe mark. There's been known to be some complexity there.
And then, of course, they've got to keep a little eye out for Phil Barnett and the other guys driving the ferries between Circular Quay and Manly, right? Now we know that Phil's going to handle it all right and give them a look in. We think. He promised me last night. Actually, that was the case. But
there you go.
But you got to also keep your eyes right up the track in that respect, don't you?
Yeah, we've got a sort of a standing joke, I think. You know, we say Manly Ferry coming. There's always a Manly Ferry coming or going, right? So it's just part of life, and you get used to it. But it does make the harbour pretty tough. And you know, the big Manly ferries don't look like they're going fast, but they're actually going about 16 knots. So they can sneak up on you unexpectedly, shall we say? Yeah, and Bill, you remember some pretty famous footage of the McKee brothers from the US coming off second best in a fight with the Manly Ferry, getting caught on the bow of the ferry at full speed.
And in full reverse.
Yeah.
And in full reverse, right?
Yeah.
In the Country Comfort.
That's right.
Unforgettable. That vision went round the world, actually. And
that's right.
Their boys were just lucky they kept their heads and jumped off to leeward rather than to windward, you know. I'm sorry, to windward rather than to leeward. So.
No. I mean, I was on Bradley. I wasn't watching from on the water. I was watching for Bradley's head, and I was significantly concerned for their welfare, I have to say.
Yeah.
But, you know, to their credit, they just got the boat back to shore and patched it up for the next day's racing. Incredible effort.
It was. Now, I see we've got Tech 2 in picture here. I think you rate them as one of the chances today. Is that right?
Well, Bill, you know, we noticed your son steering the thing, you know, and operating the team. It's been pretty seriously good with Charlie White and Lewis Brake in the boat, hasn't it? It's been fantastic.
It really has. Those boys have brought us to, for me, a real surprising level of confidence, expertise, structure, planning. They've really brought a lot to that campaign, and great young men as well. You know, really fine young men, as are all the guys in the 18-footers, proper human beings. But I don't think Jack's ever been more excited about racing the machines than he is at the moment. And you know, he's now a veteran, if you can believe that, Bucko. You know, there's Jacko, he's one of the veterans. And I sort of look at that and think, how can that be right, you know?
We're not disclosing your date of birth on this broadcast, Bill.
Greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. As we get the 5 flags, talk me through who this contest is, who's going to be in the contest today and why.
Well, she's a big upwind fight today, isn't it? You know, and obviously we've seen that downwind the boats, doesn't seem to be that much difference. You know, your Tech 2 has been very good downhill, more from a tactical standpoint than a speed through the water standpoint. The top 5 boats upwind are Tech 2, Winning Group, Smeg, Royal Oak, Four Pines, and Finport.
Finport, right.
So we'd expect the podium to be fought out on the first beat between those 5 boats. And in this course, in a general sense, the rich do get richer. I think, you know, it's just hard because probably today you have to go to Bradley's up the first part of the beat, and the second part of the beat you've probably got to be hard right. And so there's only one good track, and if you're not leading, you're having to make up some ground without having that track necessarily available. So the spacing between the boats becomes one lot of dirty air worth, which is about 20 seconds or something like that. And so you might see 5 boats in 2 minutes, and so tough to get past. And The downwind, the VMG run, the second run will be interesting. It'll present some opportunities, but you'd expect that they would sail on port jibe to Nielsen Park initially, so no jibe sets or anything like that today. Just going through the starters and riders, though, Bill, absent today, notably, Noakes Sailing, Sean Langman, Ed Powers and Josh Perebski off on offshore duties. Sean's 60-footer Money Penny being campaigned for the Hobart race and the South Sydney Regatta and some offshore stuff going on. Also Burden Bear, Nick Daly, Tom Clout, Johnny Walton not here today, and marine industrial issues there, I think, of one kind or another.
3 minutes.
But equally, Bill, today, Trent Barnabas in the bow of Smeg, his son Zach in the bow of Shaw and Partners. How good's that?
That's fantastic. We're just missing Trevor, and we've got the trifecta.
Well, Trevor's sort of nearly as old as me, or if not older, mate.
Yeah, but John Winning's older than you, and you won 7 world championships. You're slacking on the job as far as I can see it, you know, big time.
Hey, the older I get, the better I was, okay?
So 2.5 minutes to go, okay. So, Bucko, you were saying it's all about getting to Bradley's. So if you wind it back from there, I would have thought that if you don't get a clean start on this course, you're in deep trouble, right? You just got to get away clean, right?
Yeah, there's a fair premium, but the race course is long enough. It's an hour 30 this race, probably a little bit more. There's plenty of duration. If you've got the consistent technical skill and your boat speed's good, being third or fourth isn't going to kill you if you're good enough. If you're good enough,
right? 2 minutes, a bit less, minute 45 now, the start of the race. And pretty soon we'll start to see where they're all congregating and whether they all agree with the 7 times world champion as to where they should be.
No pressure whatsoever. I'm very pleased to be retired, well and truly. So troops, they're racking up, and the line is not all that long, so there's going to be a little bit of congestion. It doesn't look quite long enough, the only criticism I can make, but in this location it can't be any longer, otherwise it's in the ferry lane. So
get in that red zone.
They've got about as much start line length as they can. And a keelboat just coming down to join the party. Soon on screen, we're coming to 1 minute exactly, and the keelboat on port.
There's 1 minute.
1 minute. The keelboat going, oh my goodness, what are we doing?
I'm tipping a jibe here from the yacht, and maybe some fruity language coming his way, possibly.
No, he's been very sensible, I think, the fellow steering the yacht. He's just going to avoid the fleet. So winning group Smeg, Tech 2 towards the leeward end. Kitchen Maker, Royal Oak in the second row at the top here. Finport at the top here too. So Finport pretty notorious for being able to go high and slow, as good as anybody. Coming to 20 seconds.
They're early.
They're looking okay.
You think?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. A clean start would be good.
Because it's not windy, Bill. If it was windy, they wouldn't be okay. Smeg's the only possibility to be over here.
Yeah, Smeg looked over. Yeah, Smeg over.
Individual recall. Michael Cox and Ricky Bridge and Trent Barnabas. 1 boat length early, Bill, yeah? Again. Yeah. And they've been doing that a bit. Out of the leeward end there. Winning group.
Tech 2's going back as well. I don't think they were over.
No, they weren't.
Oh, no, Tech 2 just did a 360. Oh, around the pin, right. Okay. Yeah, winning group down on that pin end, not just going fast but high, now attacking to come back across, leading the race at this point in time. And down below them, Vintech looks in pretty good shape down that leeward end of the fleet as well. But at the moment, among the hot shots, Schmeg's out the back door at the moment because she had to go back around. The Tech 2 chose to go back around as well. We don't think she had reason to, but she did it anyway, just for fun. And now coming back to cross tacks with Kitchen Maker. Got Kitchen Maker, she'll cross rag. So she did the the turn and still managed to cross those guys, Bucko, which is okay. But at the moment, the winning group looking in great shape, going fast, looked high and in great shape.
Well, winning group will lead the race pretty handily by the look of that. And everybody getting away from Bradley's a little bit here. Tech 2 going back to the left. Tech 2 will still be in the top 6 or 7.
Well, who I really like also is Vintech coming back on port. I reckon she's currently closest to winning group, and there's Tech 2 tacks again, so she's now a couple of extra tacks and a jibe into the race further than just about anybody. But interesting to see, Bucko, that the winning group continuing out right out and in a easterly slant there at the moment, and now coming back on the starboard tack to re-engage.
Yeah, and as we can see here, the wind a bit spotty. Where we are on the Carricker, just right at Tech 2, about 12, maybe just a little less. Further right, there's less wind. Tech 2 just squeezing up around the back of a keelboat here, taking a couple of sterns. Beautiful sailing.
So that's interesting because she crossed Rag previously, now Rag crosses her, so that's indicative that the breeze has switched into the east quite a bit there, I would have thought, Bucko.
A puff from the right edge, and it just lifted those guys up the ladder a bit further. Winning group still on port further up the track going towards Bradley's Head, so leading.
So other winners from that are Ilve, Kitchen Maker. They all went way out to the eastern side, and they're also in that big easterly switch and coming in great shape. In real good shape.
And now we'll see for real what's going to happen here, because, you know, Vintech leading the group on the left edge, and that's a good effort from those young fellas. Finport having a bit of a struggle here with Yandu. And a big catamaran spectator ferry in the way, making some dirty air.
And Bucko, just the comparative performances of these two, the Yandu's looking like she's got good speed and good height and making life difficult for Finport.
Yeah, Finport did quite a good job there. They've been able to maintain their lane. They're not getting affected too much by Yandu. Cruising boat in the way. The catamaran's been a bit of a problem upwind.
Finport just clear of Royal Oak. So Royal Oak's in this race as well. But Kitchen Maker and Ilve over on that side did very well.
Wow, Traffic Central we're in, mate. Traffic Central.
You see Bucko, Rag and Famish has had a good first part of the race. They're going along pretty good, but we're now seeing the winning group tacking right on Bradley. So they're where you said they needed to be, right on Bradley's head here. And at the moment they're, probably 30 seconds in the lead. And at the moment it might well be Andu who's coming second, Bucko.
I'd say well picked, Bill. And for all the fiddling around, the simple answer, go to Bradley's. Winning group done a pretty good job though.
They have. They've actually cleared out, and the only ones in vague contact with them at the moment would be Vintech. But what's your observation about the function of the sails and how they're going there?
Well, I know they've been working pretty hard. They've tweaked their rig around, and it now looks to be at the same standard as Tech 2 to me. And Tech 2 had set the standard, but winning group looked pretty competitive. Not without effort though, I can tell you that. No, Anton. Yeah.
So that's pretty well laid off at the top up there, Bucko. They look very comfortable.
No, it looks, the twist in the two sails is close to perfect. So I'm pretty happy with it. I'd give that the tick, mate.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all good.
Well, it's interesting that they've got the main just locked on.
Yeah.
And in the gusts they're getting go forward.
Yeah.
So looks like that rig is doing everything you'd want it to do, because the plan always is in the gusts you don't have to start throwing main out the door and easing the sails. You just, the rig reacts and you go forward, and that's what they appear to have at the moment, right?
The miracle of the well-tuned square top, Bill, we'll call it that. So winning group leads, Vintech is second. How about that, eh? That's pretty cool. And probably Tech 2 is close to third after having recalled themselves or something. Didn't see. The winning group just couldn't quite keep going there, but Vintech second pretty clearly.
I'd say Finport's in pretty good shape over on that western shore as well. I think they're looking pretty good.
I'm sorry, folks, yeah, and Andu, sorry, in third, actually.
Yeah. But now we're going to find out if you're right, because we've got winning group out here on the eastern side, and then we've got Rag and Famish and Finport out on that western side. And this is what I think is interesting about this sort of a breeze, is it's now largely about where the breeze comes from, whether you get the breeze switching in the right direction or whether it or the wrong direction for you. You know what I mean?
Well, Bill, the reason the eastern shore tends to pay in this thing is that there's just a funnel, the Watson's Bay funnel we'll call it, a little bit more pressure and a bit more right hand that comes over the lowest part of the cliffs at Watson's Bay. And so that bends the whole flow to the right. And so the old story used to be go to the blinker at Nielsen Park and tack. Now we're seeing a pretty wide spread in the fleet here. Winning group, you know, good 25-second lead.
And looking to be sailing a bit, no faster than Vintech, but maybe a little bit higher here, Bucko.
Yeah, I don't know there's much difference. Vintech's trim... Vintech's trim's been improving in leaps and bounds. Vintech has seen the ferry, one would wonder.
Well, they got it right smack in front of them. Oh, the one from behind here, right. Probably not. Right, okay. I don't reckon they have. And the driver of the ferry, to his eternal credit, is playing the game for us.
No, I think the Vintech's got a tack, haven't they?
Well, I think they do, but they... okay, they now know the ferry's right behind them because they just had a look. So maybe they need a little honk of the horn.
No, they don't. They're fine. No, the captain... the Vintech captain was having a look. He's all right. Tom Koenig. Fantastic. They did decide to tack in a nice puff, actually, so not too bad. But they're technically in breach of the rules there, I can tell you. But...
well, now I guess they go all the way across to the eastern side and hope that they get a big switch in the east, and that gives them a chance to catch up with the winning group, eh?
Yeah, of course. Winning group confidently going up the middle, but the view used to be that we'd check in with a Nielsen Park blinker, the yellow Nielsen Park blinker, which is about 250 metres off the shore. Good rack up here.
Well, have they caught up to Vintech? So Schmeg Appliances Online and Royal Oak Hotel, they've all made up a bit of ground, I would suggest.
Yeah, the Royal Oak's now second, looking at that.
Royal Oak looking good and looking fast and high. But in the meantime, the winning group have sailed away from the fleet and now lead comprehensively.
Well, yeah, Bill, but I think they might be going a little bit to the wrong place. Who knows? But I suspect that Royal Oak will go back to the right here and have a shot.
just to try and get a bit more of that easterly, eh?
Nice drag race on camera there, Trips. 4 boats parallel, boat speed difference. What do you think, Bill? About 0.
Round about 0. But
Yeah.
maybe for Royal Pines is easing down over towards Appliances Online. Appliances Online a little bit higher, maybe, do you think?
Yeah, Appliances slightly bigger sails and so able probably to sail a little higher and slower. And doing their best to squeeze them off. Winning group further up the track for the viewers, just back on port, so coming to the right.
But their lead is nowhere near what I thought it was now. They've pulled them right back. That's, what, 20 seconds?
Yeah, 20-25. I'm not sure it was ever all that much more than that.
Look at this.
Four points will track in a minute, mate.
Yeah. Okay, so Royal Oak's been squeezed off by Appliances Online, so that's a big win for Appliances Online, I would have thought. They've been able to squeeze them off and make them take a course they didn't want to take, and in soft air here too. So Appliances Online looks like it's carrying superior boat speed to the Royal Oak, and maybe they can keep making their way up towards the leaders and be in contention in this race.
Yeah, Adam Gilson on the main sheet today on Appliance Online, and he brings a fair bit of skill.
Okay, so Appliances tax to go back to the eastern side. Schmeg does the same. Appliances, look at that, how close she is to the winning group now. She's right on her tail, so they've made up big ground. So yeah, this race is closing up a bit here, which is terrific. That's what we all really enjoy. And the Kitchen Maker too. Look at the Kitchen Maker coming in from the left over here, Bucko. Now she's in real good shape, isn't she?
Not on screen, no. They get bent down into the easterly slant though, Bill. We'll look where the bow is now. So they're probably about 7th, I would think, or 6th.
Who, the Kitchen Maker?
Yep. Because they're sailing back into the easterly header, you see.
Back into the easterly header, right.
You have to try and get across earlier. Winning Group's done a pretty good job here, though. But
yeah, the lesson that seems to be repeated is get out to the east and keep getting out to the east, right?
Yeah. And it does pay to overstand the mark. There was so much east. When a day like today, it can pay to overstand the mark. Just in the background there of Vintech is the old Love and War Hobart race winner, formerly owned by Peter Kurtz and now operated by his son Simon. Just getting ready for Hobart and participating in the Sail Sydney Regatta. Sparkman and Stevens design from 1972. Highly successful yacht.
So making our way up towards the top end now for the first time. I got Winning Group first. Royal Oaks, I reckon, is second. I reckon that, the boats over that eastern side certainly do appear to have the advantage big time. And the guys over this side, so Tech 2 now going fast and rolling over the top of Rag and Famish, but right over, I would have thought, the wrong side of the course, and at the moment well out of the race.
Well, I mean, Bill, Tech 2 will be lucky to be around the mark in about 10th, so it's not what they would have hoped for. Good pressure though in front of them, so it is possible to come off this edge, but I think we'll see Royal Oak, 4 Pines and Winning Group, who are the furthest right, will be 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's the way it looks to me as well. If these guys get something a bit more from the north, which maybe they're getting a bit at the moment, but they're being squeezed out by Rag and Famish here at the moment, so the Tech 2 struggling to hold her lane, and the Rag and Famish doing a very good job of squeezing them. So that's an interesting test for the Tech 2 in terms of her speed and height there, Bucko. She's struggling.
Yeah, they're just trying to get far enough so they're at the ley line, but they're going to have to tack. And that was a pretty determined effort from the Rug and Famish boys, wasn't it?
Well, they did a really good job there. I mean, that was that was a big squeeze. That was a really good squeeze, and that for the young crew on Rag and Famish, which Jack used to skipper, that was a terrific effort and a good sign for their future. I would have thought they held their nerve, they showed good speed, and look at that.
Remind yourself who's on the steering stick of the Rag and Famish, Bill.
Oh yeah, right. Remind me.
Anthony Young.
Oh dear. Okay.
Who's in the veteran class, but Otto Henry Youngfellow on the main sheet, and having an exciting time. Graduate from the Optimus program and the 420, and Pete Nicholson in the bow. So a good blend of youth and old age and treachery, shall we say.
So is our plan here to come back across with the Rag?
Yeah, we've got to go and rejoin the fleet, haven't we?
So yeah, so winning group in real good shape here. They've really so far sailed it beautifully. The other guys came to them a couple of times by getting out to the eastern side, but as we sit here now, winning group looks to me like she's at least 40 seconds ahead going around the top mark first time. Maybe now it's Schmeg who's right in contention to get round second, although Royal Oaks and Pines is probably still ahead of them. Appliance is on line trying to hold her position with Royal Oaks on her hip, not a very good place to be, and really struggling to hold her position there and not get into the gas of the Rag and Famish. And the one that's come through here beautifully, because she broke the start and was out the back door, is Schmeg. She's really made some yards here, Bucko.
Finput also been a big improver up the second half of the beat. And like I said, Bill, it does pay to actually overstand this mark in this typical wind, and Finput's been the most extreme right-hand boat, yeah? So they've come up from being about 5th or 6th. And you'd have to say that Royal Oaks had the opportunity and didn't probably take it quite well enough, I think. Clock's running. Vintec also far right, but winning group just tacking on a port at the mark here.
I reckon Vintec's a big chance to sneak around second. She's coming in from from where we are. She's coming in from the western side, and that's the Royal Oaks.
The Royal Oaks. Smeg's going to be in front of them, and who's going to get there in front of all those guys? Just here.
Yeah, sorry, I should have said Royal Oaks.
Yeah, indeed.
So they've really gone well here.
So it's close, but okay. Correction: Royal Oak second, 35-second lead to winning group.
35. Okay.
In round figures.
What was that? Was that a port starboard there or not, Bucko? They were making some noise.
Yeah, no, it was just that warning sign.
Oh. Bit of passion coming off the water there. So Royal Oaks around second, and there's a bit of a Andrews in the spot of bother there, but got the chute set now. Appliances Online's had a really good work, and she's around, and Vintec's actually still coming to the top mark. Schmeg's in the hunt there, but for the winning group, this is great because they're all tangled up and all over the shop and watching out for each other, and the winning group's free to just charge away and do a thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of joy in leading. And so Vintec's going to be 8th, Rag and Famish 9. So they'd be disappointed with that, wouldn't they? Because they would look like they're in contention, and Tech 2 10th.
Yeah, yep. So they've got it all ahead of them to see whether they can drag back a few spots.
Well,
and there's the major contest there.
They've shown considerable resilience thus far this year, and being able to fight back from a long way. But that's a big lead to spot to the winning group, and hard to see them catching the winning group. But anyway, first leg, and it looks like it's going to be pretty tight into the island. So it might be dropping spinners to get up around the jibe mark.
Yeah.
The angle tightens and the wind goes forward, typically.
So as we go through, and we've got Tech 2 here in 10th position, Rag and Famish 9th, Vintech 8th. Appliances on line 7, Kitchen Maker 6th, Maybe Schmeg 5th, Finport, Andu 4th, Finport 3rd, Royal Oak 2nd, and Winning Group still leading comprehensively out the front of the fleet. And maybe Royal Oak's making good time on them just at the moment. But Bucko Appliance is up high on the course here at the moment because they're struggling to get round Shark Island. So would you enjoy being up high as Appliances is at the moment? Have they positioned themselves well here?
Yeah, no, they fought up a bit to get round on the high side of a keelboat that was sailing slightly more downwind than them. But it is going to be a spinnaker drop to get to the island, and so high is good to some degree. Their alignment's pretty good there. I reckon Winning Group probably been a bit conservative, as in on the low side. Appliances here on the high side. A couple of obstacles in front of them, a keelboat and a spectator ferry and a yacht under motor, but they're now sort of VMG running just to arbitrage their distance off the high ground, and I'd say they're in pretty good nick.
So you would expect them, as they get pushed down towards Shark Island, they'll make up a bit of ground on those that have to drop chutes earlier, right?
Yeah. Yeah, except for the ferry in the way, Bill, yeah? Which is, of course, the spectator ferry, so it's a bit...
Yeah, the ferry's a bit of a problem for them, really. And then there's, on the other side of the ferry, there's a yacht.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how they navigate this. The ferry's really right smack bam where they don't want it to be.
Anyway, Winning Group bending up around at the moment and laying with a chute, so...
this is disastrous for Appliances here. Have a look at this. Appliances is going to go right into the shadow of that ferry, and they've got a yacht on the other side, and that's really bad luck. They've suffered big time. They're going to suffer big time there, and yet they were sailing so well, and really in pretty good shape. So Bucko, you still sure they're going to have to drop chutes here?
No, I'm not sure about anything, mate. Not even sure the sun's going to rise in the east tomorrow, okay?
You could probably put a bit of money on that, I reckon.
But if we got the Winning Group in shot, you'd see that they're headed for the wrong end of the island with a chute on going at full noise with about 45 degrees off the track. So I might back the idea that we're going to take it down for a sec, mate.
Yeah, they're doing it right now. They heard you. They were listening to you. They know you're an oracle.
Here, we've got boats coming down, so head for the mark.
So the Schmeg just right adjacent to us here was in all sorts of trouble because they just completely ran out of pressure, which was really bad luck. And I reckon keeping down lower and dropping your chute because the breeze is. Oh, look at where Andu's going there now. They're off to the Harbour Bridge.
No, that's right.
Off to the Opera House.
Yeah, they've got a heading puff, and it's such a big header. It's faster to two sail anyway. So, you know, with a chute up, you're 45 degrees to the course. So just got to stay in the wind and accept the problem. We saw Smeg paying money there before to get high up and then getting absolutely smashed.
They are. That's why I reckon, Bucko, down low, you stay in the breeze, you get to the point where you've got a two sail earlier, and it's a better way to go than trying to get up high and hold your chute, you know?
Yeah,
Okay, Winning Group just jiving around the mark, about to go around the mark now, and setting the chute again. Interesting to see whether Royal Oak's made up any time on them, Bucko.
Royal Oak's made up a little bit. Not much, just a little. So Finport will be third after all that gets sorted out. Andu will be fourth. Small gain to Royal Oak, and Royal Oak sailed that leg very well. And it's been a bit of a pattern. Royal Oak's been improving, and they don't usually lead early in the race, but as the day goes on, they seem to improve.
And look at the angle they have. I suppose now it's working out to be pretty similar. But what was the gap then?
Just a bit over 20 seconds.
Just 20 seconds. And look at them now, Bucko. Look at them just coming straight to them in pressure.
Yeah.
The winning group's out of pressure.
Yep.
And just clawing time. So Royal Oaks is making a race of this for sure and certain. I would have thought they'll jibe on top of the winning group. And look at that. They've just carried Bruce all the way to them here.
Yeah,
look at that.
No, well, have a look at what's going to happen here. Finport's going to bring the next puff down if they can get their shoot going. Good squirt here. So we're just to windward of Finport on the camera boat. Nice set.
So with Finport third, Andu coming around in fourth position. Schmeg now in fifth. So I reckon Schmeg going up high into that top end of Rose Bay lost. For sure and certain, Tech 2 did. She lost a massive amount. I reckon she'd be back now in 12th or 13th. And look at... Yeah. Can we go to that?
They're on the screen now. Phil, to the right.
Yeah, look, there's the contest. There's the contest.
Yeah, so Royal Oak nice and low on the mark, quick set shoot. On the face of a puff, halve the distance to... Winning Group's still in front, but Tech 2... Royal Oak 4... Royal Oak 4 Pines certainly putting pressure on Winning Group. And the gap...
So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Schmeg was fifth. Yandu is sixth. That's a really good performance from them. They've come from a long way back to get there. They handled that downwind leg beautifully. Bit of experience on board there. So that's sixth. Appliances Online's coming in seventh.
So Appliance Online has seen greatness and ran from it at high speed, haven't they?
They did. They were looking so good on the breeze. But anyway, look, they're not too far out of it. So what did we say? They're seventh, right? 2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah. So Appliances Online is seventh.
So here's the peloton: Rag and Famish, Kitchen Maker, Birkenhead Point, Noakes Blue, and Tech 2 in the peloton. How about that? And Tech 2 coming on a good path, a little higher the mark. Great set. How about that, Billy? You'd be happy with that, wouldn't you?
That's all right. That worked out pretty good. There's a few seconds. There, so straight away they're. They got plenty of catch up to do, but we know that they'll keep going and do the best they can. So we've got Noakes Blue right up with the amongst it. Look at Rag. Now Rag we saw going so fast uphill so fast and looking so good, and here she is. So I guess they'll review the tape, the guys, and figure out why that speed didn't convert to a better position. The Birkenhead Point, she's around. Ilvay.
Okay, let's follow these guys down.
And now Shaw and Partners jibe straight on the mark. So they've chosen that course.
Yeah, so Steve Thomas on the steering stick of the Shaw and Partners, Harry Bethwaite in the middle, and Zach Barnabas in the bow. Bit hard, new combination entirely, really. All of them good sailors, but she's a three-man team, and the same blokes in the boat every week in the same job is a big contributor to performance.
Well, it's essential, really, to give yourself a go. You just simply have to have that teamwork happening, don't you?
Yep.
But just at the moment, it's pretty interesting to see who's going to lead round that bottom mark, and we're a fair distance from it at the moment, but looks to me like Royal Oak's done pretty well down there, Bucko, and they're just getting down towards the bottom end of the course now. So Winning Group jibing now to drop the chute and go around the mark, and that looks like Royal Oak right behind them. Really nothing in it.
Yeah, they're in touch, that's for sure.
And Finport seems to have done pretty well down there as well. So I'd say the Rag and Famish will be feeding dirty air here back onto Tech 2 and Birkenhead Point. Is that a fair thing to say? Giving them a bit of grief?
The Rag's controlling the speed there, like a slow racehorse, mate. Winning Group got around the corner safely and on a win, and it looks like the lead might be still about 15 seconds.
About 15, okay. Well, so that's tight.
Still, that's a pretty good effort from the Royal Oak Four Pines boys. Okay. So Birkenhead having one of their best races of the year. They're enjoying the milder conditions. New combination. Timmy Westwood on the stick, Josh Ponton in the bow, and Alex Chittenden, Michael's son, in the middle. And they've been working hard, but a bit of Simo jibing here with them and Tech 2. Great jibe on the Tech 2. Wow. Happy days.
Well, they've broken away from these two here, and that's a pretty handy gust they're in there at the moment. They timed that pretty well. Might have been a bit of luck there.
Well, no, eyes out of the boat stuff down here, and breeze hard right, looking upwind there, so that's all good.
Finport's had a really good run, Bucko. She's up into third now and has looked to me like she's made time on the Winning Group and Royal Oak. So Finport coming into it, and you did say she had terrific speed. Andu is fourth. Schmeg is now fifth. And Yandu is sixth, so John Winning having a terrific race. So she is sixth. And looking like Tech 2's wriggled her way up here, maybe to be seventh, depending on what appliances online can pull off.
No, Tech 2's through appliances. Tech 2's going to round at the front of the peloton, and that will serve them well up the beat. Nice clean air at the mark. They've done a great job, Bill.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That last section there, they got all the directions to go right. Rag and Fanish coming in on port hand here, in behind the kitchen maker. Oh, look at Rag. Now this is good from Rag. She's also made gains and done very well. That was a pretty early drop from Tech 2 there, I would have thought, Bucko.
Yeah, but they just a bit conservative, and that's okay because they knew they were going to lead.
Look at where up ahead where they're going. They're almost heading straight to the mark, Bucko.
Well, breeze in the right.
So this is a soldier's course now, right?
No, not really. A little bit, yeah. But that's what brought those Tech 2 back to the front there. They jibed on a port on the face of that easterly puff. Breeze permanently rotated here for at least some time. Probably 20 degrees from where it was on the first beat. So interesting times, but still be a little bit of port tack work in the beat, I think, Bill.
Well, there's the lead two have certainly got a lot higher on the course than third, fourth and fifth. So they appear to have carried that easterly shift a lot further and more effectively than the rest of them. But you look at how high up they are now towards the eastern side in what's supposed to be a true beat up to the Beetle Boy. That was a bit messy there by the Birkenhead Point. I don't know quite what happened there, but a bit of a port and starboard confrontation. But do we want to whiz through now and get up to the leaders? Yeah, so you look at where those lead two are, Bucko. They're far more up to the eastern side than third, fourth and fifth. Done well.
Yeah, but we don't really know how they got there. The breeze now here just rotated halfway back to the northeast.
Yeah.
And a little build coming down the middle of the creek as well.
So once again, Rag and Famish, really looking like they've got her set up well, Bucko. The bottom of the main doesn't look all that flash, but she's really appearing to go fast and high.
Well, yeah, I mean, Anthony Young, sail maker of yore, he understands the rig set up pretty well. you'd expect them to have the rig set up nicely. So we're travelling with Tech 2, I think, in 8th place.
Where are we going? Will you take the leaders or
I think Tech 2 is in 6th position at this stage.
6th, sorry, Bill.
I would have thought Yandu is 5th.
No, they must be 7th, mate.
Oh, there's OK Appliances on the winning group up top, right? 7th it is, yeah.
Yeah. So on the water, winning group, Four Pines, Finport, Andu, Smeg, Yandu, and Tech 2 in 7th. So
Kitchen Maker on a big easterly slant right there.
yeah, so subject to further advice.
Yeah, well, it's just the breeze. How big are the switches in the breeze, Bucko? How many degrees?
We're probably seeing 25, I would say, 25.
Right.
So get the wrong side of two of those, you're squandering at pretty high speed.
Yeah. Well, you have a look at where Kitchen Maker's going here versus where Tech 2 has been going.
Yeah.
And it looks to me like she's 10 degrees higher.
Yep. But on this edge, the wind, where we are on the camera cat with Tech 2, wind nearly true northeast. And on the eastern side, the breeze east. So the crews have some choices to make. The tide now a factor, though, Bill, this beat as well. So.
And in front of us here is the Voice of Experience. They've chosen not to go all the way over to the other side, the eastern side. They've taken the middle of the course, or actually not in the middle, over on the western side of the course, and they look to me like they're believing in the breeze staying a bit in the north.
Yeah, and we're talking about, of course, Yandu, and John Winning always capable of going up the right-hand side, even when it's not the right answer. But today, just sort of plugging away.
I reckon you got to say that Fang Warren's got on board that machine, and he's brought a bit of muscle power and a bit of endeavour and a bit of passion, and looks to me like that bloke on the sheet, Fang Warren, he's done a fantastic job for John, making life a bit easier for him to get those 69-year-old bones rotating around the vessel and doing what they got to do. So he's got a really good, strong young, two of them on board, of course. But the younger bloke, Fang, he's, I think, just done a fantastic job.
No, you smack on, mate. She's been a bit of a revelation, Fang, on the main sheet, and he's a pretty competitive fellow, as I think you're well aware. Not that John Winning isn't, but I think just instinctively it's hard to imagine being John's age and being prepared to take the sort of risks and, to some degree, injuries that arise.
I heard I got a great story from Fang. He was saying that now and again John's passions get away from him a little bit, and the temperature rises a fraction and things get a little loud, and at some point Fang said, mate, probably best if you don't yell at me. And John said, why? He said, it's not personal, don't take it personally. So there you go, don't take it personally. That's the lesson, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to do a bit of yelling and screaming, don't you? You probably used to do a lot, I would have thought, Bucko.
No, I liked it to be a quiet study, like a library, mate. Well, if we're in the ship with Ian Murray and Don Buckley, it was, pretty. We were always fairly confident, and.
Don't get lost, Ward. Don't get lost. Where do you want to go? We're going to pick up.
Well, you've got winning group here, and you've got a bit up further over here. You've got, and these guys at the moment look like they might be making a bit of ground, so that's a pretty good contest. And then Finport straight ahead is third. I wonder, is it worth seeing these two come together, Bucko? See where they're at. The lead two. We'll get over to the lead two and just see whether Royal Oak's able to make any ground. Probably at the moment it doesn't look like she's made a whole heap, but who knows?
Yeah, but they're still in the contest. And what you're seeing there, Bill, I think they will have learned a bit from the first beat, and they'll be prepared to go right to the ley line this time. And Winning Group is indeed going to do that lay-up through that Nielsen Part blinker kind of alignment.
But it looks to me like there's a bit more north there at the moment than there was the last time they came up, Bucko, and that Royal Oak's enjoying a pretty good phase here. I reckon she's if she holds that direction there, she's not going to be too far behind the Winning Group at all, I would have thought.
Yeah, and probably, you know, the Four Pines has got the option of being the right-hand most boat, which is what I would expect will pay. Winning Group's certainly digging in pretty hard though, but Winning Group will come back on starboard. They're still in front by some margin. Finport's not exactly absent either, is it?
Well, that's right. Now Finport coming up on the starboard tack here, and she's right in amongst this as well. So what's really exciting here is we're really getting a race on our hands here. These three are very, very close, and Finport's made up tremendous amount of ground and looks fast and high on the breeze. Yeah. So are you tipping that the Royal Pines goes all the way to the shore before they tack?
Yeah, Winning Group's taken a bit of a mortgage. The right edge pays. Royal Oak now looking a bit querulous. A little bit less wind, but you can see Winning Group.
Oh, they're also in a... I'll tell you what, Finport's winning hands down here at the moment. They're out in the middle. They got pressure. The Winning Group's up and down. The Four Pines is up and down. I'm not too sure why they come and dump themselves in under the headland here and just, give themselves a whole pile of trouble, Bucko. They're following your advice, of course, but,
well,
hasn't worked out.
We always used to say hit the high side of the headland, Bill, not the low side, okay?
So they didn't listen to you well enough, right?
Well, I never explained that, mate. Come on. Trade secret,
But why would you be coming in so, I suppose...
I mean, it does. The wind compresses against this headland. And the rule says line yourselves up with the... Watch where you're going, Vaughan. Line yourself up with the blink up, boy. There.
Okay.
And that will get you on the ley line up to the windward mark. And have a look at the puff coming around the corner now.
Oh, yeah. Where's that coming from?
Well, from Watson's Bay. The Watto Bay puff.
Let's follow these guys up, and have a look at how the rig's functioning and how they're all going, Bucko. What do you reckon, old boy?
I think that'll do.
There we go. Good tack.
That's
good
a pretty good
Let's
spot.
Follow them up.
Pretty good spot to tack on the face of the puff.
Don't get caught in here. Yeah.
Go.
Traffic, yeah, sorry.
So, can we get in behind the Royal Oak and just have a look at a rig and get Bucko to give us a insight into what he would change to make him go faster? There you go, Bucko. You can make him go faster. What are you going to do?
No, that looks pretty good. The mainsail looks good. The jib's not right at the bottom stripe though.
So what does that mean?
Bill, have a look. Just a little bit too deep and a little bit too round back the jib. So might be a slightly older sail, but really just fractionally too deep, and not much the crew can do about that. So that's a sail making problem, not a trim problem in all reality. The twist is about right for the conditions.
So is that issue with their jib fixable?
Everything's fixable, mate.
So it's a recut, is it?
It's a, how do you spell fix? M-O-N-E-Y, don't you?
That's it. That's it.
Yep.
Well, given then that she's not, she's got that slight fault with an old tail or whatever, then they're going really well, right?
No, they've been terrific. We put them in the top 5, and they're going to get. I think they're going to get around this top mark pretty close to Winning Group here.
And what can you tell us?
More wind coming from the right edge here for them from Watson's Bay.
Yeah. So if that comes with Easterly slant in it, they're going to be cooking with gas here.
Yeah, and you can see they're just a little higher than the guys out to the left.
And now the breeze is sort of missing them a bit at the moment, but yeah.
Pretty good stuff coming. It's not very windy anywhere on the track right now. Breeze down to about 8. So just a little bit crouched, but the boat's still sailing along pretty good. They're not up to the ley line, and
at the moment they're suffering.
Yeah.
And it's who's in the pressure and who's not in the pressure. It tells you a lot at the moment. The Winning Group's just absolutely famous.
And now here goes Four Pines on the face of a good one. They could perhaps deepen up soften the whole rig a little bit, possibly. But we can see that they're going to be a long way in front of Finport, Bill, now, yeah?
Yeah. Finport's really dropped away. She's paying the price of getting it right over on that western side, and every time we come up, we see the eastern side's the place to be, right? Every time. You got to eat the hard stuff to go and get the good stuff.
Yeah, and it's a long, from the blinker buoy to where the mark is, it's, 3/4 of a mile of good right-hand air.
Well, they're going to catch a wake here. Beautiful. Look at that. So it's so up and down. You look now what's happened to the winning group. She's hit a northerly slant in the breeze, which is going to work out beautifully to tack and go to the top mark. And maybe that works out for Finport too, if that's true. If these guys get the easterly slant, and certainly they're higher at the moment, but if they get an easterly slant, the way it's oscillated, there they go, look at that, up they go. And now suddenly they're like 12 degrees higher than the winning group. If they could hold that, they'd be in great shape.
Well, the test, Bill, is you have to be right up to the mark, right? So if they're not up to the mark and actually crack sheets into the mark, they should have gone further on port.
Further port, right. Or should have gone back, right? Should have gone back.
Yeah, gone back on a port. But it looks like they've done a pretty good job here. So, I got robbed a few times by Trevor Barnabas on this course before we learned that trick, right? Back in the day.
Yeah. So Finport's not far off them here. Finport is not far off them at all. We've still got a race here. We have still got a race.
Absolutely.
But overall, the breeze is easing out, right? Yeah, overall.
The breeze has softened and gone back to the right. So the two go together to a certain degree. And
Hang on, I lost my pin.
Now it looks like the Finport might have tacked a bit early here. She's missing the mark just now, and she's got the flood tide to drive her further up the harbour, right? So Finport's made an error. They're going to have to tack twice here, by the looks.
Perceptible amount of flood here on the mark as measured. So,
and
winning group's going to still lead, but they're short, I think, also, Bill. Perhaps. No, they're okay. The winning group done a good job there.
Yeah.
And a good little spike of wind coming from winning group at the rounding mark.
Yeah. The Finport went a bit early, and that's cost them big time. So around goes winning group. Sailing really well. You've got to defend hard on a day like today, because if you let someone go out the other side and don't keep an eye on them, well, suddenly, the Peacock's got the feather duster look.
Well, I think for like 4 points might have got a bit unlucky there. They just needed to go another 50 yards on port, I think. But anyway, very close between them and Finport. Finport's in second.
So Finport around second. And this has been a good performance from them. They've hung in really well and make ground and then don't make ground. But let's see whether they do a jibe set. No, they're just going to set. Now all they need is a gust to favour them somewhat, and they'll be, there they go. So Royal Oak round third, still well and truly in it. So on this leg straight down the middle of the course to get to the bottom mark, it's very much a matter of which of the three gets the favoured breeze. And I note at the moment nobody's going out to the west straight away, Bucko. So I would have thought that's a move you can consider.
What do you want to do? Go do that 350. Go down with them. There's a big gap. Yeah. Just follow.
Okay, we'll follow the three leaders now, and we see that up ahead winning group now has got a big slant from the east, and she's off to the Harbour Bridge while Finport's off to Nelson Park. So that's how fickle the breeze is here today. It's all over the shop, and you've got to have a bit of luck to be in the game.
Yeah, the boats actually sailed that bit differently, but everybody did it pretty well. I think Royal Oak, as I said, probably a little bit unlucky, but And the right way back down is just a reciprocal.
Oh, Finport in trouble with Schmeg here. They had to flag the shoot. So Coco was in no mood to give him any grace. He called them and made them flog the chute, and that cost them a bit of time. Look at the angle there the winning group's carrying. They're not making the bottom mark, Bucko, for crying out loud.
Well, that tells you the right should have paid more up on the beat, doesn't it?
That's right.
But if you look at the sky to the east, there's some new nuances appearing in the cloud structure, so this might just be a permanent sort of slightly more overcast sort of mode. And they're laying down in one, so that hands the race kind of back towards winning group a bit.
Big time. Big time. But what's also happening, Bucko, is as we're going through this, we're getting these big switches. We're also getting the breeze gradually easing out. So it's the breeze is softening up overall. And so we look out to the west, we see some pretty heavy looking clouds. So is there any chance that this just dies completely in the bum and, you know, something else happens?
Well, I don't think there's any thermal effect now. This is just gradient wind, and there's a little bit of convection over the land, but only over the land, and it's just not hot enough in the western suburbs for anything to happen, mate.
Yeah, that's right. But, you know, at the bridge this morning, it was the breeze was actually in the west. So I guess we're not going to get that coming back, are we? We're still going to have this easterly. Oh, look at this. Royal Oak at the moment making big ground. They've got a really nice gust happening. They're sailing lower and faster than Finport and making ground on Finport and the winning group. So look at this. This is a big move in the race right here. Royal Oak getting right up into the race, and if they can hold that pressure for another 5 minutes or less, then they'll be in real good shape.
Yeah, the rich do tend to get richer. Finport just out of the puff, and these boats, they go downwind slightly faster than the puff or as fast as the puff. So if you can ride one puff for several minutes, and so if you're approaching somebody, you know, it's possible that you can pass somebody without actually doing anything except being in the right location on the face of the puff. But now Royal Oak's come back to par there, mate.
They have. Now explain this to me, Bucko. The winning group have got one bloke in, right, and two out on the wings, whereas Finport and Royal Oaks, 4 Pines, have got all three. It looks to me like winning group doing that at the moment is losing them time, or, you know, I don't understand why you do that. Can you explain that to me?
Well, it's pretty subtle VMG running technique. How much riding moment do you use? What's the optimum for the typical wind? And you see them use more riding moment in a puff and slightly less in the lull. And they try to simplify it because, you know, they're just trying to not move the spinnaker sheet too much. To some extent, sailing that we call it sailing the trim. So you just adjust the amount of riding moment. But consistently for Royal Oak 4 Pines, perhaps with a slightly bigger mainsail than winning group, I'm not sure. Mast heights are all the same. Finport and 4 Pines probably slightly bigger in main area, and they may just be a little faster and able to generate a little more
closing
pressure.
up here, and the problem for the winning group is they got Finport rolling them to windward, and they've got Royal Oak coming into leeward, and so they've got two positions to defend.
Yep.
And the Royal Oaks 4 Pines has rolled right up to these two. Yep. I reckon they're almost with Finport now, and both of them have caught right up to winning group. I suspect that's just been... Well, I wonder to what extent, Bucko, that was a mistake having one bloke in on the winning group and whether that slowed them up.
Well, the other thing to observe is that the Royal Oak 4 Pines spinnaker is quite a bit deeper off the leading edge down low, so that...
Oh, they've jibed.
Well, they jibed because they were getting up towards the dirty air of the other guys. I'm not sure they need to go very far and we're up to windward of Finport on the Camera Cat. We're in a good bit of east here.
Well, look at where the winning group's going now. They're barely making the mark. So
exactly.
Royal Oaks, I don't know quite what they had in mind there, but yeah. Not too sure about that one.
Well, here's the thing now. The leaders have to make a choice because the leader's now getting a little bit lifted up under the leeward side of Shark Island there. And you can see in front of where we are, and we're looking down the track with those two boats, there is a big lump of no wind towards which they're going. 4 Pines out on the other side, needs to jibe back pretty promptly though, in my view.
What did you just say then? He's gone too far, or?
Yeah, I think so. He's verging on too far now.
Yeah.
But
I suppose he's hoping that the breeze stays in the north and then he's going to be in good shape, right?
No, he's avoiding what we're seeing here. These guys getting bent up under the leeward side of Shark Island here.
Right.
And now they're down again, but there is a zone of not much wind.
There is a zone, there is.
Yeah.
And so now they're jibing on the Royal Oaks.
Yeah.
So they've come back, and whether they've gone too far, we are about to find out. I'd say if they've got that right. Oh, look, these two are going now. Okay.
Yeah,
so if they've got that right, that's going to be pretty bloody good, I would have thought.
Yeah. So Winning Group jibed in virtually no wind, and they're paying some price for that.
Oh, look at that. Oh, hello. We've got the MSB guys here. Oops, they don't call them that anymore. Oops. Look at this here. Look at this here. What a good race this is.
Yep.
My word, Finport really closing up to the Winning Group big time, and Royal Oaks didn't win anything out of what they did. They fallen further behind.
They would have been better to stay in a little puff that was evident.
They would have.
So that's a story, folks, a bit, one puff makes a lot of difference, and you just got to keep working on it and trying to link them together and not jibe in the lull. And Winning's paid a bit of price there. They had to do it. They had to do it, though.
Well, it's a terrific race. Now, I guess what the Winning Group does is just keep pushing them out to the western side of the course.
Yeah, but Finport's free to jibe.
They are free to jibe. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So they pick their moment. Are you tipping? Can Finport get ahead of them by the bottom end of the course?
Yeah, if they do it right, but they're just going to have a simultaneous jibe situation here, and
there they go.
And Finport in not much wind, unfortunately, in the jibe. So.
And Royal Oaks down here under heaps of pressure. It's snakes and ladders here.
No, that's right.
And look at. So Winnings now are off to Darling Point.
Yeah. And
at the moment, I suppose they're just making the. Are they making that buoy down there, Bucko? That's the question.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay. The advantage might go back to Royal Oak here to some degree.
Well, if these guys stay in this easterly slant, they're going to drop it, and then jibe it, and that's a lot harder than jibe drop, right?
Yeah. Royal Oak's lined up for a jibe drop. These other blokes are no longer VMG running to the mark.
So, at the moment, the Winning Group holding their ground. Finport right behind them. So the Finport crew will just be looking for a little mistake from on board the Winning Group just to let them through. That could be a slow spinnaker drop, get the angle wrong, maybe their rounding is a little compromised, anything like that, and they'll be jumping all over them. I think the Royal Oak too, as she heads down towards this bottom end, for the final time, actually. This is the last time round the bottom mark. She's in this race, so whoever leads has got a problem. Their big problem is they got two machines right on their tail, and so they have to work out, Bucko, who the hell they're going to cover.
Yeah, I think that'll sort itself out. I think the gap back to 4 Pines might end up about 45 seconds. So, and these other blokes, and they will have to do. No, they'll be in good shape for a jibe drop here, Bill. Actually, so they should go round in regulation here. But as you said, mate, what could possibly go wrong?
That's right. What could possibly go wrong?
It's a longer list than you put, Bill. I can tell you. Okay.
Here we go. So now they got to get their shoot in the bag quick smart.
That's right. But Winning Group a little bit pressed on the distance, but not too bad.
Worried about Royal Oak?
No.
So that's a beautiful drop and beautiful rounding. So Winning Group handled that beautifully.
Yeah.
But they've got two machines. So here comes Royal Oak, and she's now going to drop the chute. They better get that right. because that's looking a bit tricky. They've got a lot of spinnaker over the side there, and someone needs to start yanking on it pretty fast to get it in. What are they doing there, Bucko? What's happening? They've prawned. Oh, no.
So there's what could possibly go wrong answer.
Oh, no. Boys.
That's okay, they'll get it in, but they're going to have a little pit stop, to be fair.
Gee whiz, eh?
It's easy enough to do with a style of drop. They've got a one-man drop situation, and it just escaped them. The windward sheet not held on enough, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
That's I feel for the boys. They've had such a fantastic race, and whichever way you look at it, this has made a mess of it. And now this is Andu now, right? Andu coming through from a fair way back, and she's going to jump up into third position because that chute's going nowhere at the moment. I think
once it gets in the water, it's a pretty big sail, and it's pretty hard to get back on board. But these guys, I mean, to their credit, there's no yelling going on. They're just having a sort of polite discussion about technique and method, I think. But Andu ran pretty clean as well.
So Andu up into third position, and Schmeg coming down now. They're coming down, and they'll be fourth probably, unless the Royal Oaks guys can really get their act together. They'll be fourth, and looking like Tech 2's up into fifth. So they made a bit of ground. But they're way behind the leaders. And right up the course, it does appear that the winning group has sailed a lot higher than Finport. And once again, that could well be they got different breeze and were able to take a different direction. But so Royal Oak now starting to get that chute sorted out. Still mucking around. Schmeg's around. Schmeg's now fourth. And Tech 2 coming across. She's looking like she's going to round in fifth position.
Yeah, breeze well up now at the bottom here. But and Royal Oak going again, so they'll be lucky to salvage fourth, I think, out of that, or fifth even.
Yeah.
So here's a slightly better method. Clue round the fourth day before the halyard leaves the top of the rig.
Right.
On the Tech 2.
Right,
so just a little time indiscretion, shall we say, on the Royal Oak. And they'll study the tape and they'll learn from that, I would predict. We did see, though, similarly, Bill, as you would have observed on Tech 2 in the Giltman last year, they had a couple of mishaps where that timing got out of whack for whatever reason. And
that's right.
It's a combination issue, or the forward hand getting too impatient or something. And
yeah. No, that's right. That's right. Well, you know, the good crews make it all look pretty simple and easy, but it is not. And, you know, time on the water and time going through the rhythm of the exercise, having a plan as to exactly who does what and at what point in time, and then suddenly you got 5 or 10 extra knots of breeze. Does your organisation of what you're doing hold up, or does it fall apart? And you know, it's a really tricky situation. Look, these guys are around, but they got chute all over the place on the kitchen maker, and you know, you can't help but think that time on the water, going through the paces, doing these things time and again, Bucko, it makes life a bit easier, right?
No, of course, but you know, it's a pretty high risk manoeuvre. One man drop. I mean, if it's not exactly right, it's got plenty of opportunity to go wrong, and
it has.
And you know, they're sailing the boats with apparent wind across the boat whilst the chute's coming in. They don't come off the end of the wing necessarily, and so there's still but to some degree the technique relies on apparent wind to keep the chute out of the water. It's part of the deal, you know. Yep.
Okay, so Appliances Online, Kitchen Maker, Tech 2 and Yandu have sailed a much higher course with much more east in the wind in the early part of this upwind leg. And I'll be interested to see who first makes the decision to come across and get out to that eastern side sooner rather than later. Because that's where it's been paying all day. So Yandu See, you look at Yandu and Kitchenmaker, they're in different breeze to Tech 2. Tech 2 is much higher, and the breeze is switching in direction so significantly that you just can't be sure as to, you know, when you're going to have a bit of luck and the breeze is going to come your way, and all of a sudden you look famous when you weren't 2 seconds ago. So it makes it more interesting and means that up ahead, the Finport needs to try and get a bit clear of the winning group and try and get in different air so they give themselves a chance to have some luck and jump into the lead. But we're making our way up the course now towards that lead group, and as I see it, way up the course at the moment, I think we've still got the winning group in charge of this race. Finport right on their tail. Unfortunately, Royal Pines dropped out of it with that dud Spinnaker drop. Andu now still not close enough to be up in contention to win the race, but you never know. And Tech 2's made a hell of a lot of ground during the last 10 to 15 minutes of this race.
Yeah, quite right, Bill. It's interesting times here. Tech 2 up to 5th from 10th at the end of the first lap. But it looks to me as if winning group leading by the same margin as existed at the bottom mark, which is about 30 seconds.
Yep.
And the breeze a bit regulation northeast on this edge, so there will be opportunities up the right, though, I would believe.
So Andu right behind Schmeg, not far in it, not much in it at all. And I guess if we've got winning group first and Finport second, then we've got Schmeg now third, Bucko. Does that sound right to you?
That's approximately correct, mate.
I feel very sad for the Royal Oaks guys. I think they're a relatively young crew, right? And on the up and up.
And yeah, but Bill, I mean, they've been terrific. And
yeah,
you know,
just that one shoot drop, though. I mean, gee whiz, and it's pretty tough.
Well, they had worse luck last week. They broke the bobstay wire on the pole, you know, so at least they're in the race this week.
Well, that's true.
You know.
But do you say that's bad luck or is that bad maintenance?
Well, probably bad maintenance, but, you know, the captain of the ship is a jet pilot. He knows a bit about maintenance, I think.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
So tell us about the Schmeg rig here. How's the Schmeg rig looking?
Well, it's different, isn't it? I mean, even your old eyes, Bill, will tell you that it's a different setup to the other boats that we had a good look at before. So deeper sails, more twist, and harder work by the main sheet man, yeah?
Yeah. Very obviously so.
Yeah. So, and I'm not sure they've done a heap of work technically, but they've struggled a bit this year, the Smeg. It's been windy, and but that setup might be better come the Gilton and in the lighter winds of late summer, perhaps. But the whole setup one notch deeper than everybody else's, and they like sailing around with the jib bolted in pretty hard too.
Right. Now, maybe they're giving themselves a chance here, Bucko, because they've come east first in a big way. If they get that shift, if they get that easterly shift, they're going to close up a fair bit on winning group and Finport, I would have thought.
I think you're quite right. I think they have given themselves a chance. They need to just probably jump ship on this puff here and get out just a bit further up the track. They're almost as far left as you can go. Here they go now. So they're listening, obviously.
Well, look at where they're headed here.
Yeah, I know. So they're laying the mark from there at the moment.
If they hold that,
yeah,
they're right there in the race.
No.
Let's follow them up.
Yep. Let's follow them.
But out of pressure. Out of pressure.
So they're just trying to join up the next big puff coming off the headland. Wow, look at it.
It missed them.
No, it didn't. It went around the back, and that's the problem, because they're a little bit too. They needed to get a little further up. But that said, winning group in the background now, tacked onto starboard. Excuse me, Trips.
So just to reiterate, winning group leads. Look at the angle winning group's got here versus Schmeg. So winning group's got the easterly slant and Schmeg hasn't. Schmeg suddenly got into a northerly slant, and you can see that beautifully in that picture right there. And now they're starting to roll up. But if you look up ahead to the winning group, she's got a completely different angle to the breeze, to the Schmeg. And the Schmeg will be, I guess, doing their best to be patient and praying for a bit of luck. Look at the difference there now. I mean, that is just monumental. And that's the nature of the breeze here today. There they are. Now they get that pressure, and now they start to roll up onto the same line. But unfortunately, going out to the east has not worked out quite so well for them, Bucko.
Well, they're going to have another bite at the cherry further up, though, Bill, aren't they? They're going to go, if they believe in it, they have to go to Nielsen Park Point, where we saw the guys go on the last speed. But if you look upwind now, the structure of the wind is a little bit different to what it was the last speed, isn't it? It is persistently right across the whole track looking upwind.
Yep. And of course the winning group's problem is they got Finport way out to their left and they got Schmeg right behind them. So if Schmeg now goes out to the right, then winning group's got a decision to make. You know, which way do we go here? Who do we cover? Oh, Jesus. So Finport coming back from the over on our left here at the moment to re-engage with the winning group, but the winning group have well and truly held their lead up here, and they've been under threat a number of times now, but so far every single time they've been able to hold the opposition off and hold their lead and have sailed very, very well indeed. So John Winning Jr. Herman's doing a great job. Of course, his crew is as good as it gets. You don't get better than those two anywhere in the world in terms of any type of sailing. They're as good as it gets anywhere in the world, and so they've defended their position really well. They haven't always been super quick, I don't reckon. I wouldn't be saying they have held this lead, and if they win the race, I wouldn't be walking around saying it's because they were so quick. I'd be saying it's because they've just sailed an impeccable race, but the race is not over. So I don't want to talk too soon, because Bucko would give me such a hard time for doing that. I'd be hearing about it for months and months and months.
But Bill, I think this winning group, they've been working on their rigs, they've been working on boat speed, they have been working on, they've had the same crew in the boat now for a few days in a row, a few races in a row, and that's showing up too, in my view.
Yep.
The execution today has been better than it has been all year.
It has. It has. They've been very calm, cool and collected. And, they'll only be encouraged by this performance. And, given their performance so far in this race, it's very hard to see them letting any of these guys through. So the Schmeg is now broken away from them and is in a different phase of the wind. So, but they're still a good minute behind, so they're going to have a manna from heaven to be able to catch up to the winning group. The closest to them is Finport, and they are still a chance, because I think, Bucko, where push comes to shove here is when after they round the top mark, they set the chutes, and it's then who gets the luck and who gets it right going around Shark Island.
Yeah, no, it's a tricky leg. So, Finport looked pretty fast through the water for that minute that we watched then. There's not a big gap there, is there, Bill?
No, but I'm a bit surprised that the winning group hasn't tacked straight away and just started to feed some dirty air back onto their sails.
Well, guess what?
Well, but that's a bit late, isn't it?
It's good enough. They don't need to try to put dirt on, because it's impossible to do it in a sustained fashion in these boats. They just want to stay in touch and in the same rough bit of wind.
Yeah. All right. But look, this is much closer than I thought it was here.
Yeah.
Finport is, as they stand there, what's the gap there? That's 10 seconds?
15.
So now they're sailing down to start getting to gas them. You see that? They're sailing an angle to start gassing them. So winning group here has sped up and pushed themselves into a position where for sure they're feeding dirty air back onto the Finport sails, and I reckon that's a pretty smart move. It's something that Rob Brown used to do very well when he was racing the 18-footers. I never saw anyone better at getting the right position to feed the disturbed air back to the bloke right behind him. So sometimes he wasn't all that quick sometimes, but he was able to sail tactically so well.
Yeah, he was good at it. But, I mean, here's the thing now. Winning group's used up one of their rolls of the dice there by footing down and forward over the bow.
Yeah.
And Finport is better at sailing high and slow. So just watch what happens here. We might just see Finport able to snivel their way up to being really in close contact here.
So that could have been a tactical error, you think?
Well, you know, winning group has sailed non-optimum VMG for about 45 seconds. Finport now up out of their gas.
So if they can hold that position up on their hip and not suffer speed-wise, then it's well and truly on here.
Yeah, and it's now a squeezing contest, you know. So, and Finport's pretty good at that.
Well, I reckon the winning group would be wishing now that they had you on board to tell them what to do next, Bucko, you know?
No, I wouldn't wish that on them at all. Thanks for the idea, though.
Well, this is one of those days. The winning group has led all day. They've beaten off every single challenge so far, and there have been plenty of them. But look at this now. Now, Finport has got up higher than them coming to the top mark. If, in fact, they now get a slant from the north, Finport's higher, and she can leg it out, and it's still going to be very, very close. Over on the western side, we've got the Schmeg coming back on port tack, and she's maybe made up a bit of ground here, Bucko. What do you reckon?
Yeah, no, they do look closer, don't they? So what we're seeing here now, Finport cracked sheets coming to the mark at high speed. Winning group bolted in, trying to squeeze up to the mark. So that's pretty dynamic what's occurred there.
Well, if they get into a certain position, then winning group won't be able to attack because they'll have them port starboard, right? In fact, I reckon they're close to that right now.
No, they're not, because winning group's right up on the ley line. So that's given them a safe location, yeah?
Oh, okay. All right. There they go.
But that's, you know, a 2 boat length lead. So Finport will be pretty pleased with that. And Finport will fancy their chances down here. They seemed to be a little faster downhill last time, didn't they?
They did. They did.
Great set on the winning group.
It's a terrific race.
Wow.
What do you reckon? You chase it?
And not such a good set on Finport. So there's a couple of seconds wasted by Finport, but they're still in touch. So, oh, come on, you guys. You just got to get that wing out of the water. Didn't heat up enough, guys. Come on.
And Schmeg's really suffered here. She's really taken some punishment coming in from that western side. She really took some punishment and went from looking like she was right in it to probably now a minute and more behind the first and second place, and choosing to go all the way across before tacking. So,
and having to do 2 tacks in pretty light air as well.
So here they come now up to the mark in 3rd position. No, okay. Here we go, Schmeg now around the mark. So once again we saw they had some luck, then they didn't have some luck, and it's been snakes and ladders once again. And there they go, look at that. Now they're in pressure at the moment. It's going to do them a power of good if they can get that shoot set and get things happening.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice rounding, that one, isn't it, Billy?
That's away they go. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, full power on 2 sailing, shoot going on under full noise, and then just the briefest of interruptions and off to the races.
And they just got to be careful here. They don't get driven down onto the tack 2 on its way up on the starboard tack, but no, they're good there. So now you see 1 minute Schmeg's going low and fast, now she's high and slow, and it's all over the shop. The question in my mind is whether or not Finport is making ground on the winning group. And and just how that's going to work out, because this is the race to the finish line. This is it. This is where we find out who's really going to win this race after a fantastic encounter between the leaders in this race. I think this is probably the best performance I've seen from Finport this season, Bucko.
Yeah, by a long way, and you know, a few occasions they haven't raced with crew unavailability, but they certainly, I mean, they do like a nor'easter, and they do seem to like flat water.
Well, they've had real good speed for 3 or 4 years, right? That machine's been quick, and she's certainly shown that again today. She hasn't lacked anything for speed.
No, and sometimes appear to be the fastest boat upwind, in fact, and no slouch downwind either.
No. Well, look, she certainly hasn't lost any ground since we rounded the top mark.
No.
I see now they're trying to keep it up high. I don't understand this tactic at all. To me, you just take maximum speed and then drop your chute when you've got to drop your chute. When you put it up on its ear like that, you slow it up, and I don't know why they do that, but they all do it. They probably because they know more than me, right?
Just a chance, mate. The thing is that you can sail on the ear and the puff a bit, and then in the lull you flatten back out, and just slightly optimises what results, and it's kind of a bit safety first as well, yeah. Because they sail on the air a bit so that they've got weather helm and with the main sheet off, and then in the lull they sail with the main sheet on to neutralise the helm.
So is she making any ground here, Bucko? She's got a little bit of extra height, but...
Well, they're asking the question, Bill, aren't they? You know,
they are.
That's the question, you know.
It looks to me, Bucko, like these guys all sail these machines too far in the stern. They're too far in the stern. And, you know, the nose is always up out of the water. And it just doesn't look right to me.
Yeah, but it's surprising.
Downhill, I mean.
It's surprising how quickly it can go pear-shaped. So, and just watch this in the puff. Like, there's a fair bit of movement fore and aft and transversely. But there you go. There's the header with puff. Oh, dear. So, when do we drop, Bill? What's your call on the drop, mate?
Well, you know, I think that for Finport, because they third so far behind, they've got to take a chance here. And, you know, I think my view would be that once again you see winning group, you know, pressing, trying to take the chute as far as they can. If I was Finport, I'd go flat out as far as I could with the chute, drop the chute and get into the two sail first. And see if you can put a bit of pressure on winning group by being first into the two sail.
Well, Finport's got a little advantage here because they can watch what happens to winning group, and I doubt that there's going to be too much difference here. Both boats lined up for the middle of the island, so they're both going to have to drop if the wind continues. Here goes winning group now. So Finport thinking they might be able to carry. They might squeeze out the back of the puff. They might. The other technique, Bill, as you be aware, is to flag the chute, not take it down.
Yeah.
Finport might be thinking we'll give it a bit of a rag, but they're out of wind, and it's a big header.
Yeah, big header, and of course winning group coming up underneath them can give them a tremendous amount of grief if they try that manoeuvre that you've just described. And now you see by trying that, they've lost a lot of ground here.
It's probable Finport should have just whipped it off simultaneously with winning group there.
Yeah.
Because of what we're seeing here, which is a heading puff. We're just up to Wimbledon Finport heading puff, and that makes the drop more difficult, and it makes the rehoist more difficult. So a controlled drop is important for the rehoist at the corner. Jibe mark about 200 metres away for winning group.
It's not over, but I would say that Finport's just suffered a setback is how I see it.
Yep.
But Bucko, just imagine how good it would be for the sailors on these things if they could listen to our commentary and know exactly what to do all the time. How good would that be?
The camera cat wins every race, mate. Don't worry.
Of course she does.
Yeah.
Okay, winning group doing what they've done all day, taking care of every challenge that's popped up and dealing with it. And I reiterate that my own view would be it's not about boat speed. This has just been an excellent crew performance so far, and you know, they've opened up on Finport in the last 4 minutes. They've opened up. They've just had a pretty ordinary shoot set though, but that's probably not going to worry them too much.
No, they got the sheet stuck under the tack of the jib, which is going to be a big problem.
Okay, it is a problem.
Somebody's got to go to the bow. They've got it off. Okay.
No, it's free.
Wow, they're lucky there. And a great hoist on the Finport. That's pretty cool. Considering, you know, Finport had a bit of a shambolic drop, their hoist is A grade. And the gap is about 20 seconds. So
20 seconds, yeah.
Winning group should be comfortable, but doesn't take much, mate.
Yeah.
We'll come back up the stairs. So just a VMG run to the finish. Probably not a huge amount of opportunity here for Finport, but at least 2 jibes, so there's still room for errors. Finport actually has a little gain there.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. They're in a position where they can potentially jibe and roll them here. This is still on. This is still on.
They'll be thinking about it. Winning group squeezed around there. Squeezing down pretty efficiently. They can't go into the moorings though, so winning group has to jibe now. Finport will jibe first. Or simultaneously at least, yep.
Who does the good one?
Oh, they're both perfect.
That's very good, very good, very good.
That is just impeccable, isn't it?
Now, can they take breeze from that point? From that?
No.
They can't get their breeze there, can they?
No, winning group squeezing around their bow, but winning group under some pressure here.
It's all about whether they can roll them.
Yeah, that's right. So it's now a drag race. Who can get forward? The lateral separation doesn't matter to some degree. But Finport will be fancying the possibilities.
They need to get the front of their spinnaker pole ahead of.
Great stuff.
Oh, they may be getting into a position where they can do it here. Maybe getting into a position where they can roll them. Yep. This is a great rate.
No. Oh my God, what happened there?
What the heck's happened there?
Just some funny bit of wind by the look of that. Or a seaway. So that's given winning group a little escape. They were nearly on their air.
Yeah.
Finport jibing now, and winning group will jibe simultaneously.
Good jibe from Finport. Very good jibe from winning group. Finport getting the pressure first.
Yeah, Finport jibed on the face of a good puff.
Oh, look at this. Coming to him. Nah, not close enough yet. Now it's the angle. Who's going to get the angle to the finish right?
Well, Finport's on the face of a boomer. They're laying, I think, yep. Not quite. One more jibe.
Actually, at the moment, they're headed for the finish line. That breeze has come off.
No, that's right.
Oh, the Finport's so close. But they're both going to have to jibe here, and they're not in a position where they are at the moment to be able to really take advantage of that. Oh, look at this. They're rolling them.
Yeah, they've got a jibe though, Bill.
Yeah, they got a jibe. Yeah. Okay, there's a bit of noise coming off the boat.
Warren. That way.
Oh, look at that.
Finport done a jibe drop.
Oh, what's happening here?
Well, the ferry's in the way. Winning group's going to win by 10 feet.
Right, gee whiz, just gets over. They just get over. What a ripper of a race. That's fantastic.
That's worthy of some applause.
What a good race that was. Now, I reckon Finport are having a bit of a squeal here about what happened at the end there, Bucko. Did they have any rights?
Can I take that question on notice, Bill?
No, come on. No, don't prevaricate. Just tell us what's going on, Bucko. That's what, you know, you're 7 times, right?
Keep pointing up because we'll go up again. Yeah.
Schmeg, good race. Good race, Schmeg. Real good race.
No, that is a good effort from the Smeg, isn't it?
That's a good race.
Their arrears there is only about a minute.
They broke the start and they went backwards from there. So, Schmeg, really good race.
So on the water here now, looks like Royal Oak's got back up to 4th.
Yeah, and maybe 3rd. Maybe 3rd there. Have a look at that.
No, winning group, Finport,
Oh,
Smeg.
Smeg 3rd. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, Royal Oak's up to 4th, yeah.
So they're going to go and jibe on the face of Andu. Andu 5th.
Okay, so they should be stealing their win there, shouldn't they?
Well, Andu's in front of them again after they completed the jibe, just.
One wonders why the Oaks wouldn't have gone all the way to make sure they make the finish line there, although with the breeze switching around so much, you just wouldn't know, would you?
Well,
you know what I mean?
I think...
Here comes Tech 2 coming in on the port hand, and if either of these guys get it wrong, then Tech 2's going to jump them.
Yep. It's a yacht race. It's a beauty, isn't it? So 3 boats covered by 2 blanket widths.
And Tech 2 coming in on starboard as they come into the finish line.
Yeah, and Tech 2's been very good at this.
And look, Andu's holding Royal Oaks out, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly correct.
Holding them out.
Tech 2 can jibe about now, I would say.
And I would say they're probably a bit closer to the finish line.
It just depends on how good the jibe is and how much Andu's hurt them.
These two are. Oh, look at this. This is really tight.
No, Andu's going to get it. And man over into the wing on the Andu. Beautiful work, man.
And, wow.
And Tech 2's beaten Royal Oak. How about that?
Yeah, they beat them.
So the order there, Andu, Tech 2, Royal Oak, 4 Pines. Great finish, guys.
So what's that? Is that 4th, 5th and 6th? Is that right?
That's correct, Bill. Yes.
4th, 5th and 6th. How's good's that, eh? I've got that right.
Yeah. How many fingers am I holding up? This is a test, okay? 4. So Yandu's going to get 7th by the look of that. Kitchen Maker, Cecil Stone 8th. Appliance Online 9th. And Sherwin Partners going to be 10th.
How's this Yandu? I was watching early on in the race, and the Tech 2 just sailed straight over the top of them, higher and faster, and yet they've been able to hang in there and get this result. I mean, they're just sailing so well, those blokes. It's a great credit to them.
I mean, Bill, you must be a jinx, mate. That's the worst race that Tech 2's had all year.
Yeah, no, I did. I jinxed them for sure. Yeah. So, anyway, just means that we don't feed Jack tonight, you know. There's no dinner.
You can't fatten thoroughbreds, mate.
But it was a fantastic race. Just a really, really good race. And, you know, I really take my hat off once again to the winning group for the way they defended their position. And to the Finport, the way they kept attacking and finding a way to get back to them all the way. So they were outstanding, those two. And Schmeg also really, given she broke the start and had to come back and then go around, she did a great job as well.
No. I mean, that was a terrific day sailing. Just looking at the the next bloke's coming down here, and Rag will get 11th, Noakes Blue 12th. So that kind of rounds it out a bit. There's a couple more boats still on the track, but they've been on the riding lever. The fleet, as noted, a little smaller today with people absent for various reasons, including Hobart race duties. So, folks, a very interesting day in the Camera Cat. Unusual conditions engendered by our good friend La Nina. The racing resumes in the second week of January. A little pause over the Christmas period. Hope you can all be well. The COVID situation in Australia is pretty under control, and we wish particularly our American and French and German and Italian friends and British friends the best of luck dealing with their more difficult episodes.
Yeah.
From the Camera Cat today, AeroMedia, as usual, providing their impeccable work. Thanks, Jono and AeroMedia. Been an amazing 5 years with you, sir. Michael Chittenden, Anton Perry, thanks for coming, Anton, and working away at this rather tricky little platform that we operate. Bill, thanks for your company. It's been terrific. Vaughan, having fun, and you've been able to think through the Christmas break about these silly 18-footer thingies, eh?
Absolute pleasure, Bucko, to have been on board today and to have been here for such a terrific 18-foot skiff race. You know, it's so thrilling when you get those contests where they come and go and they keep bashing away. And today, a rare sight of the winning group getting out ahead and just refusing to let that go, and just did a sensational job. But great performance by all the crews, and a most enjoyable day out with you, the gun of the 18-foot skiff world.
Yeah, I mean, it was a terrific day, and the winning group did a pretty good job of fending off all comers, didn't they?
They did.
They did. Just to recap that, on the winning group today, Herman winning on the stick, Sevi Jarvan on the main sheet, and Sammy Newton in the bow. They're you know, Gilton sort of lineup. Second place, Finn Port, Keegan York, Matty Stenner, Phil Marshall. So it's their A-grade lineup as well. And Smeg in third, Michael Croxton, Ricky Bridge and Trent Barnabas. Not on the podium today, Tech 2, Jack McCartney, Charlie Wyatt and Louis Brake. Didn't sail all that well, went back at the start, didn't need to, had a couple of other little incidents. I think they might have done a penalty turn on the first beat as well. But they could not really make great inroads, which tells you, you know, that the fleet's more even than we might have had. To all our viewers and people who've made comment over the first half of the year, thanks for your viewing. Thanks for your encouragement of our operations here. I hope you all have a prosperous holiday season, and we look forward to your company again January 2021. Who would have thunk? Thanks for watching. Camera Cat standing by.